What's going on, guys? So this is pretty awesome. We have a 1-year follow-up or 1-year anniversary from the first review that I did inside of Warremir's account. So this was back in March 30th of 2024, and today we're going to follow up with that, see how much progress he's made, and give him some direction on how he's best going to get into the end game of Raid. And to do that in a year is pretty impressive. He's had several account reviews with me. He's had amazing progress so far. And obviously, it's not a free-to-play account. You'll see that in just a moment. But it's also not a massive Kraken account either. So back in 2024, these are the champions he had. Now, his builds back then were a little bit questionable. They're far better now. But we have 166 speed Rathalos with way more crit rate than he's ever going to need. Tons of crit damage. He's in Slayer set, which is not probably the best set for him either. So not a very good build. We have Archer and Lifesteal with defense percent gloves. Not horrible, but she's not crit capped. She has no accuracy. She's really just not doing anything other than staying alive with that sweet, sweet 6-piece Lifesteal set. No masteries. She is level 60, which is good, but she's not really doing much, right? He's just not really getting much from that champion back then. We fast forward a little bit. Let's see what's going on with some other champs. Maybe if I can actually see any other builds. We had a Rhonda pop up just then. Where is this Rhonda at? Okay, so we have some team builds going on there. I was rebuilding a Bad L, it looks like here. So let's see if okay, Bad L. Before I started rebuilding him, let's see where he was at. I'm curious. This is really cool to look back on in my opinion. I like seeing this. So once I finish this upgrade, we have, let's see, Bad L with 132 speed. Oh my goodness, that is a slow Bad L. Good accuracy, but everything else is not good. So by the time this gets finished, he's looking a lot better. Now, let's fast forward a little bit and see how far Warremir has come from level 62, 3.1 million player power, to now 14.92 million player power, level 100. And let's look at some of these champion builds. So, crit cap, a little bit over on Alaz. A little bit over. Definitely could be changing this build some to get some more oomph out of him, basically, more impact. We have Mikage and 9-piece protection, 266 speed with crit cap, good accuracy. Airbeus with some speed, accuracy. Okay, her stats make sense. Good HP as well. We have Gizmak. Now, not in the best set here, which is a big thing I'm going to talk about in this video. Once you start getting into the end game and you see that stuff coming up, the strictness that you need on your gear greatly increases. I actually didn't realize he had 2 Wall Masters, but I'll talk about that in just a minute. So Wall Master, he is 115% crit rate. All right, we need to drop that a little bit. We can optimize this a little bit further. So not bad, far better than before, for sure. But we do need to get this fixed because that's a little bit too much crit rate. Well, I guess actually it's probably just these gloves. These gloves got re-rolled. That'd be fine. We have triple crit rate on that shield. Honestly, this may be just the easiest fix right here. Just go priority speed. Really, guys? If you're over 110%, maybe even 108% crit rate, fix your build. Most cases, you don't need to be over, but by maybe 8%. And if you are, you probably have something in your build that's causing things to get a little bit wonky. So we could lose 8 there. We don't gain anything, so that's obviously not worth it. This is a 4-star shield. We ain't keeping that nonsense. But in this case, if you were to dive into this build a little bit further, I'm sure you could find a spot where you could actually maybe even drop this crit damage set, throw a different set on there, maybe even a cruel set, and now all of a sudden you're going to get more defense ignore. You're probably going to get pretty similar crit damage numbers, even while dropping that 20% crit damage, and you're just going to have a harder hitting champion. So if you're noticing your champions over 108% crit rate or so, recheck your build. You probably have some there that you can adjust. You probably have some crit rate on places that really you're just stacking a little bit too much. And if it's in that set you're trying to force, like, okay, Savage, we keep that there. We can't change the Savage. We need the Savage there. But the crit damage set, we could change that, right? Let's go for accuracy and speed. I mean, that's what he needs, right? He needs accuracy, speed. We need not that much accuracy, honestly. He's a attack and HP, enemy max HP scaling champion. So we could actually put more attack on him, which would be fine. He increases his own accuracy. So for Wall Master, I would actually give him more like maybe 300 the max accuracy, because then he's going to be pushed up to 450 accuracy, which in basically any area you're doing, that's going to be fine, assuming you're using that skill 3. Now, if you're doing Merciless set, maybe you don't need to use this skill 3. But assuming you're using that, this is going to be perfect for him. Now, with these sets, let's go for the speed set, potentially. We have a little bit of silver. Let's go ahead and hit this to 16, see if we can get some speed. Okay, we've got speed and crit rate. So let's throw this on him real quick. We lose 28% crit damage. But let's see if I'm able to snag a bit more crit damage from a shield in the speed set. So crit damage high. We gain 25. We lose 20% crit rate, which is more crit rate than I can afford, unfortunately. Let's see if anybody's got anything equipped that we can use here. We lose 20% there as well. I'm kind of curious where this goes at 16. If it goes more crit damage, then we can adjust something else. Okay, HP is boosted a little bit. Not really what I'm needing, unfortunately. But let's say we did do this. Now we're a little bit low on crit rate, okay? But we're much faster than before as well. This is actually looking pretty good. So I know he has Slayer gear on the account. That's actually the build I would go for, because Slayer on Wallmaster is just absolutely top tier. It is the best set for him. 9-piece Slayer is tip of the top of the iceberg, basically. But let's see if we have any Savage that could possibly squeeze up some more crit rate here. But it's really just, I guess, an art to it, where you're just, okay, we're losing some stats here, but let's make up for it in this other area. An easy fix, because I know he has Slayer gear, would be literally just throwing a attack ring on him. So now we're at 99% crit rate. Obviously, this is where it gets a little bit, unfortunate, because actually, this is kind of crazy. We could get a really good build for him like this. We need 1 more % crit rate. Do we have a chest plate like that? Let's see, attack percentage with speed and crit rate. Literally nothing else there. With just crit rate, not really. I'm sure we could find 1 more % of crit rate somewhere on maybe Savage. But ultimately, this is not the build I'm going to be working on anyways, because, oh, here we go. That's actually perfect. So this piece right here, we just did a little bit of finessing, and we bumped him up to 30 speed more, basically. We got him more attack. We got him a little bit less crit damage, but he's moving faster. We don't even have all the glyphs done. We could put instead of a pinpoint piece right here, we could put a crit damage necklace. Well, it's not in Shadowkin. He can't switch factions on us. But we could literally take this up. I'm going to upgrade this piece for him because the amount of Hydra boost that he could get from this is massive. This right here is a huge boost. So if you're noticing your champions over crit cap, okay, a few points, I'd say 5 to 8%. I'm going to make the range a little bit bigger here, is probably acceptable. Some situations, you just really don't have enough gear to do that, and you can't do much. But in situations like this, fix your champion. Never go below 100%. Well, unless the champion's like a cold heart or something, the situation, or you're running with increased crit rate anyways. But 99% of the time, do not go below 100% crit rate. And if you're noticing yourself 5 to 8% above 100%, fix that. Drop it down, get it fixed, get it adjusted. This is what you should be doing. Now, with that said, this is actually not what he should be doing. The Wallmaster should actually be moving into 9 pieces of Slayer. 9 pieces of Slayer is going to let him ignore 30% of the enemy's defense, 30% chance to deal additional AoE damage, and turn meter boost on that A1 skill. That is going to turn Wallmaster Athorion from a champion who's a beast to a champion who can just shred Spider, can actually solo Spider, can destroy Hydra, do so much damage there. This is what's going to unlock the ability to now all of a sudden he can start doing all the personal rewards Hydra chest each and every week. Now, we're getting a little bit into the weeds here at the moment. I want to give you guys a comparison of where he was a year ago versus where he is now. So this was the first review that I did for him. And then side by side, we had the review that I did. Well, thing I'm still working on right now. May fill this out a little bit more later on. But let's see if I can't shrink this down a little bit. All right, let's play difficult for a moment here. All right, we're just gonna look at some like the dungeon times because I'm curious. That's a pretty cool thing to me. Is like, where was he farming before and where is he farming now? And of course, if you get a takeover, if you wanted to check back in a year later, it'd be the exact same thing for you. Let's do the left to right, like everybody reads. So let's do it the same way here. So Warramir back in March 30th of 2024 was on the left side, and he is now over here on the right. So what we have is Iron Twins. Now he's doing Stage 15, a little bit over a minute. We're doing Dragon's Lair on 10 hard, a minute and 30. Fire Knight is not quite 10 hard yet, but he's moved up from Stage 20 back then. Ice Golem is 10 hard, maxed out, pretty good time. Minotaur, speed farming it, cut it in half. Spider's Den, 38 seconds on 10 hard. Beast, very good job. Sand Devil, Stage 25. Yeah, he's moving up great. Clan Boss, 1 key and everything. Wasn't 1 keying stuff back then. Doom Tower, we're moving right on through. The suggestions back then and the suggestions now may be a little bit similar, but let's look at the gear. So the gear back then, this is a huge difference. He has taken the whole 5 stars, get rid of them, thing to maybe possibly the extreme. I'll go over that in a minute as well. I don't think this is necessary. Having the graph look like this is probably shorting yourself on pieces that could be very impactful. The graph before, and this side, was not good, but it was a new account, right? You can forgive that. It's fine. You need your 5-star stuff. You need gear on your champions. The accessories, you don't need as much 5-star stuff, but with the game and where it's currently at, basically 5-star stuff, and I have this mentioned in the bottom portion of this as well, but while 5-star is typically safe to sell, don't always sell 5-star stuff, specifically in the best sets. Now, when I say the best sets, I'm talking about the variable sets typically, and that is the 9-piece sets down here. So we have all these 4 right now, which is probably gonna be like 20, I don't know, in the next couple, like the next year or so. We're gonna have so many more, but Supersonic, Merciless, Slayer, Feral, Pinpoint, and the other new sets they have in Live Arena, these are all decent to keep 5-star stuff in. Merciless, I have some quad rolls in Merciless that are 5-star pieces that if I didn't have those pieces, my builds would not be as good as they are. So there are times where you're going to keep 5-star pieces, and also not all of your champions are getting your best gear. Some champions just need the gear to suffice in content. You can throw the 5-star stuff on them or the stuff that's not, top tier, and then your champions who you use more regularly can get your best stuff. So I very much recommend 5-star legendary, 5-star epic in sets like Merciless, especially, possibly Supersonic, sets like Feral. If you even get 5-star, I don't know if I've even gotten 5-star stuff in Feral. Pinpoint, not so much. 5-star legendary, maybe epic with speed and stuff could be worth it. But if you're rolling triple rolls speed, triple rolls or quad rolls crit rate, those could be good for you. Now, that's probably going to be the only 2 you're actually looking for in both of these sets, is a triple or a quad in one of those 2 things. Or in Merciless, maybe you're looking for a double crit plus a roll into speed. That could probably fit on somebody, or maybe a double roll speed and then some accuracy or something like that for your support champions wearing this build as well. Because the 4-piece version is basically a reflex set, just not, and it's not from Ice Golem because you probably don't want to farm Ice Golem anyways. And then the 9-piece bonus is amazing, and we especially get into the significance of keeping 5-star pieces when we look at the accessories. He doesn't have very many 5-star accessories. Now this is great in the whole organization thing. A lot of the 5-star pieces are going to be Pinpoint. But it's not so great when you think, okay, I need some Merciless pieces to make a 9-piece Rhodos, but I don't have them. So, unfortunately, Plarium has put us in a predicament where you have to keep at least a set of most of these variable sets for now. In the future, maybe you don't have to, but even if it's a 5-star piece, a 5-star piece unlocking the 9-piece bonus of Feral or the 9-piece bonus of Merciless could be worth it for you. The 9-piece bonus of Pinpoint, maybe not so much. It's not hugely different. It's just 4 stacks instead of the 1 from 4-piece or the 2 from 6-piece. It can still get stripped. So personally for me, I don't see that very often. But either way, you're going to want to keep some of your 5-star pieces in these other sets. Protection has been in the game for a long time. Stone Skin as well. These sets, you can probably start phasing out the 5-star stuff that's not very good, that doesn't roll especially well. And like maybe the rings and necklaces you just don't need. But the banners, if they triple roll speed, those could be great, right? And that's what you get into when you start moving into the end game portion of gearing and stuff. So if we look at where his account is currently, let me actually close the old version of his account real quick. We're going to see what we need to work on. So Clan Boss is done, Hydra is done, Faction Wars is done, all this stuff is done. And this is basically where a lot of you probably are going to be soon, where you finished most all of the areas of the game, like you're farming everything, you're doing it on good time, you're pushed up pretty high in stages. Where else do you go, or how do you even get there? Well, the missions are going to be an easy way to help you progress. These are basically just holding your hand, telling you, hey, do this, go here, get it done. Marius is amazing, top tier champion. I can't wait to have him on my account, but unfortunately, I have some missions slowing me down. But do these yesterday. You always want to get these done, stay on top of them, because things like this take a long time based on the RNG. Also, make sure, if you're doing this, do not run the auto sell feature. So if you're doing multi-battles, turn this off. Because if a mythical piece drops and instant sells, Plarium's not counting that. I don't know why their system doesn't. This is actually not the... Actually, no, this is it, yeah. They're not counting it. They're just not going to give you the credit for that. And it's a horrible system that people just don't know about. So make sure you turn the gear selling feature off. But From all that stuff, okay, you have everything on farm, everything's going good. What else are you working on? Well, now is the part where, honestly, Warhamir, I don't think you really like. Because the previous review I did, his gear was not upgraded. When I looked at Merciless and stuff, his gear wasn't upgraded very much. His Slayer stuff wasn't upgraded, and it's still not. This is a daunting task for a lot of people. This is a task that it's like, okay, what do I even do here? Like, these are pieces that could be great, but we have no clue how they are, right? This could be all garbage or it could be all amazing. And while he has a lot of gear stored up, we don't know what it's going to be when he starts to actually level this up and cleanse it and things, right? Like this piece right here could be really good or it could be just not so great. Right now, I'm going to keep it probably. I'd keep it for him anyways. But I mean, it's kind of questionable. But you have nothing really to compare to. Your gear's not upgraded. This gear is just sitting here. This S tier stuff is just sitting here. Potentially S tier or potentially F tier. We really have no clue. So this is the point where basically this bottom portion of gear mostly is going to be the stuff you keep. Cruel, not so much. Immortal, not so much. Relentless, Perception, really thin that down. Resilience, thankfully it's not even there. Lethal is going to be a great set. Protection is going to be great with specific roles. Stone Skin is going to be great with specific roles. Instinct is a great set. But the main majority of your gear, the bulk, is going to be down here in these portions with your just best sets, basically. When you start looking at things like Relentless, you're going to want to keep some Relentless, of course, because it's still great in Hydra. But this is actually probably a good amount if you thinned it down and everything is good. If I click on a piece here, it should be good. This piece, not that great compared to what you already have. These other pieces are pretty good. This piece could be solid. So at this point, it's basically, okay, these sets served their purpose a year ago. This life, I mean, really, you don't even need that. The speed set, of course, is still valuable. Crit rate, not great. A lot of these sets are just, unless you're getting quad rolls or extremely good pieces that could just be offsets, mostly all of these are just going to be sold. Of course, you may want to keep a 4-piece set in case you want to throw it on somebody in the future, but you're going to have to come in here and sell a lot of this stuff so you can start filling it in with the much better sets down here at the bottom, which, honestly, before you even touch that top stuff, you could just come in here and start upgrading these pieces and see what they give you. Like this. This could be a quad roll speed just waiting to be had, or it could be a triple roll speed. Let's see. Okay, not quite triple roll, unfortunately, but I mean, you have, I guarantee, a triple roll speed or better just waiting in supersonic. Now, what's that going to do for you? Well, that's going to allow you to gear your champions like Fabian, get him out of this 7-piece stone skin set that he has currently, or sorry, 8-piece stone skin set, and put him in a set that's actually going to make him function much better in arena, because that's where your focus is going to be. You have 2 areas, basically. Well, I guess 3. 3 areas of focus once you get into the end game. That's going to be arena, pushing live arena, pushing higher in tag team arena, farming your grid hall. You have Hydra, which is at minimum, assuming you're not worried about helping your clan push, top 1 to 3 every single week, doing the most damage possible. That, of course, is always a goal. But the next minimum thing you're going to be looking for is this 1.2 billion damage per week. You want to do this each and every week because hitting 700 million, which is what he did this last week, is good damage, but you're so close to 1.2. So now you're taking 2 weeks. Next week, he's going to finish this 1.2 billion. And the week after that, he's going to do 3 chests and then a little bit of the remainder. So it's taking him so much longer to actually get all the chests than what it should. Versus if we make some tweaks, we can all of a sudden get 1.2 billion damage each and every week. Now, past that, do you really want to do much more damage? That all comes down to you and what you want to focus on as a player. Of course, getting these chests each and every week is going to be very impactful. You're going to get extra prism shards, chance at mythical books, more, I believe these are accessories. Yeah, epic accessories, mythical accessories, legendary accessories, all that kind of good stuff. More clan gold. You're getting more of everything, which you definitely need. But the 1.2 billion is a minimum that honestly could have already been hit inside this account. We have so much clan gold. Your silver isn't extremely plentiful. I would personally be buying this silver every week. I mean, it's 4 million silver just sitting there. You ain't doing anything else with this gold anyways. The brews aren't a bad idea either. The book is good. You bought that. This powder is good once you unlock that eventually. Everything else is fine though. So I mentioned Hydra being an area, mentioned the arena, now Chimera. Chimera is an area that is difficult if you don't have the champions. However, I know he has some of the champions for it. We have Mikage, we have Ninja. He actually just opened an Acrizia as well. But we actually have Lydia. So with this, the team that I'd probably say for him would be something along this lines. Now, currently, we have Force plus Void. So if you want an easy to run team, it's going to be different than the most optimal team. The most optimal team may not be the easiest to run, and the easiest to run is not necessarily going to be the most optimal. Like Newt is an amazing champion. Right now, we're missing like an increased defense champion for some of the trials. Airbeus can tear up a few of the trials by herself. So if you were to run a Airbeus, actually, this is the exact team I run currently. Pythion, Airbeus, Newt, and Acrisia. This team gets me about 220 million plus damage, about 7 to 9 trials, depending on how many times I want to retry it. Is it the best team? No. But it's a team that is consistent. It's using the gear that I have on my champions basically already. It is pretty safe. And with the champions I have, I can't really go that much higher. Now, I don't have Ninja. Ninja's great for this. Not so great for this affinity. But this setup is going to work with the champion builds in Hydra, with your champion builds from the arena. It's going to kind of just go across the board. Now, of course, you can scale this higher with better sets, better gear, or you could just scale it to the top key, the top chest damage, which is going to allow you to get more relics, all this stuff. So the next in-game portion of the gear is right here. Now, I guess in-game portion of the game, actually, not the gear. But the gear is where all this ties into, because if you just leave your gear where it's at, where you're focusing on stats and you're getting sets that make sense, but there's much more optimal ways to do this, it's going to be hard to progress into these other areas. Also, Ashnar is a monster now. I need to do some more testing on the test server to see where I would really recommend him, but Hydra for sure, right? Even some arena builds, I've seen him popping up even more often. But, okay, this ninja is actually a 6-star blessing. He could be great thrown into Chimera, which, I mean, he already was. This is a very solid ninja build, so Mikage plus ninja, burning through a few more trials, that's excellent. But looking at some of these champions, we definitely need to get some of these builds tweaked and getting them more in line with the area they should be best in. At this point in the game, you don't need so many general builds. You need your Gizmak amazing in the arena, amazing in maybe Hydra as well. And then he's just going to default, because he's so good in those areas, be great in Ice Golem if you want to run him in Ice Golem, or Spider if you're going to run him there as well, just because of how good he will be built for those other areas. Now, of course, if you're running regeneration, trying to solo stuff, it's not going to translate to these Hydra and Arena the best, but you can still get builds to translate across your account. So Gizmak, for example, let's go in here and pretend we did a rebuild. So with the meta the way it is, Gizmak is one of the top champions. I'd say he's probably top 5 currently in live arena. He's so good. Basically, what goes on with Gizmak, the reason why he's so good, is he brings an increased speed. Now, this is also for Hydra. He also brings a decreased speed. He places an HP burn at the beginning of the fight. And then in second form, it's crazy, because it somewhat counters some of the other meta champions currently. We have the A3 skill, which places a pain link, which is pretty cool. But the A2 is where really everything shines. So it's an AoE hit that double hits on targets under HP burn. But if you read his passive, he's also going to ignore block damage and shield when attacking enemies under HP burn. Well, currently, Marichka is going to place block damage whenever you apply HP burn to a target, and Siegfried is going to place block damage whenever you take him to a fatal hit. He's going to switch forms, all that kind of good stuff. But Gizmak, if they're under burn, he's just going to double hit them, not going to care about the block damage, and just wipe the enemy team. So he is, without a doubt, a top tier champion. Now, with his kit, you do have to build him with 100% crit rate. His A2 skill requires crit rate, but he does not require accuracy. Now, you can run him with some accuracy. I believe there's one condition where he kind of needs accuracy, but if they are under HP burn, then it can't be resisted, right? Actually, these effects cannot be resisted if this attack is critical. Okay, no, it's just if it's a crit. So we don't need the accuracy. I don't really even know where you would need the accuracy. Maybe from the pain link, possibly. But the inflicted, okay, can't be resisted. Yeah, so don't even build him with accuracy. This could maybe need it, right? No, can't be resisted. Yeah, you don't need accuracy with him at all. I always get to questioning myself because I don't use him all the time, but I've built him several times, and yeah, you don't need accuracy. You just need 100% crit rate. Now, when you're building him, there's 2 things you need. You don't need defense ignore, because he's already going to be ignoring some defense. He's going to be hitting super hard, and he's going to be doing this double hit. You don't really need the defense ignore. He is a HP and defense scaling champion, so he's going to be very tanky in the second form. The first form scales off of attack, but we don't really care about that. His damage is coming from that second form. So what you're going to do here is you're going to put him in Pinpoint plus Stone Skin. Stone Skin is going to protect him from dying. Pinpoint is going to protect your sanity. Because if he places those burns and gets sheeped, you're going to be without any Gizmak at all. So we're going to look in Stone Skin as well as the Pinpoint set. We're looking for like 250 speed for this champion. I might walk through this build with you guys so we can have something interesting here for the content. But before I do that, let me actually save this build for him. We'll go pre-tie. And this is what you're going to have to do in your account if you want to start progressing to later stuff. Is start moving your champions from, okay, we're doing Perception plus Immortal because I just really need stats, to now we're doing things that are actually going to make him pop off. This is just trying to get some accuracy to scrape by, which he actually doesn't even need accuracy at all. So this build is definitely not optimal for what we need to be doing with him. So throw these gloves on him. Very good gloves. For the chest plate, we're going to go HP percentage. I'm looking for speed on this. Unfortunately, we have no pinpoint. But remember, if we're going 4 pieces and 4 pieces, we have a total of 9 pieces to search for. This chest plate could be HP percentage wherever. It doesn't have to be in one of those 2 sets. You have 1 flex set to use, and I want speed on this also. So we have a speed piece. If it was in a set that gives me some extra stats, that'd be amazing. I would love some crit rate. Here we go. Beautiful chest plate. Streamer luck in doing the video. Awesome. Speed, crit rate, crit damage. You really couldn't ask for a better chest. Now, of course, HP percentage boots with speed substats would be awesome, but likelihood of getting that's going to be pretty low. We have some speed boots here with some crit rate at the bottom. If we get lucky and get a good crit rate roll, this would be amazing. But the idea behind this is basically this is where all your builds are going to be moving towards. As you get later in the game, you got to move from just, okay, we're getting the stats we need, all this stuff met, to now we really need to start addressing the sets and the unique things the build is actually going to do in the different areas of the game. Now, if I can take this to 8, let's see if we get some speed rolls here. We don't need accuracy. Let's see if we have any, do we have any pinpoint stuff? Pinpoint pieces would be amazing. HP with some speed, not that much. Probably just go Stone Skin with speed and crit rate on that. This is the only piece with those 2 stats. It is a 6-star pair of boots. Another roll and crit rate would be awesome. But some speed rolls here would be amazing. He has a lot of dust. So like there's a lot of potential to come in here and just get some awesome builds done. I'm not going to keep reworking that though. There's no reason to. So as far as this stuff goes, let's actually look at the accessories real quick. So the banner, we need priority stats to be speed. We're going to go HP on there as well. HP with some speed. Fantastic. We already used our 1 extra piece basically. We have a Stone Skin piece here with some defense percentage. Very nice. All right, well, defense flat is what it rolls, unfortunately. Is it going to go quad roll? May actually be worth reworking. We could. It's got a single roll speed, so it actually works out decent for Gizmak here. So we may actually throw that on there. It's not the most speed. It's really just not great looking speed, but it kind of works right. Crit damage. We're going to go, I guess we're just going to go Stone Skin because we don't have any 6-star of these other pieces, unfortunately. And then for the ring, we're going to go, we have to go pinpoint basically. An HP pinpoint ring, 6 stars is going to be best. We don't even have to roll it up. I just know it's going to be what's best for him. And now these pieces, we don't need Stone Skin. We only need pinpoint. So everything at the top has to be pinpoint, which is actually the best situation because the top row is always the easiest to find the stats for. You don't have a variable main stat to worry about. You just have the side stats to get, and you're good to go. So now this Gizmak, granted, is definitely not where the crit damage should be, but you're looking at more HP. Now, there's a lot of things I would still change about this build. I would take this up to the whole, higher crit damage, the 20% there. We'd boost his speed a little bit. We'd get some more HP percentage. We would go through and glyph this a little bit better. I would like for his crit damage to be closer to like 250 plus. He's not a 4-star blessing yet, though. That would add a good chunk there. And we could also change his pieces of gear. This is going to be more HP percentage. Hopefully it's a double on the HP. Okay, it's not, unfortunately. We have 81,000 there. Switch to the second form, we're looking at 85,000. So not quite the 100,000 plus I would look for, but we can definitely glyph or roll this stuff up, rework it. But this is just an example of the actual build we want to use for him. So new Gizzy. But he is an amazing champion. So basically, what you're going to have to do is you're going to come in here, rebuild a bunch of your champions. Okay, we're going to have this champion for the arena, boom, boom, boom area, and now these are going to get my best gear. So we go look at your arena stuff. Let's go see what teams you have. Now, actually, arena and Hydra. I'd say Hydra is more of a focus because you're so close to the 1.2 billion. The teams you used are not quite getting you there. So I would focus on getting your Hydra stuff pushed up to the 1.2 billion damage per week, and then go into your arena stuff. Now, if you know who you're going to use in the arena, you can be like, okay, well, I'm going to build these champions also really good for Hydra as well. But for your teams, I'm going to have to go to Chimera because unfortunately, Hydra, we can't do no team presets here. I wish Plarium will let you do this, log in and see like the actual team presets. I think it's kind of lame that they don't because it's the only area with 6 champions. But we'll just do this, okay? This will be Nightmare Hydra, pretend. For this, you have some crazy, insane champions. I mean, Ashnar is obviously a very good mythical champion now for Hydra. I've not tested him enough to actually know, hey, this is where he's going to fit in this type of team. So we're not going to include him yet. But just simple stuff to throw in here. We have Mikage plus Ninja. Your Ninja's brought up. Your Ninja's very solid. These are 2 good champs. We have, of course, Lydia for the decreased defense and weaken. We have the increased speed. We need a good decreased speed champion. What are your decreased speed options? So we go to debuffs, decreased speed. We have Gizmak right there. Gizmak would be an awesome decreased speed champion. Also placing a HP burn, but he may not be helping you get the 1.2 billion damage necessarily because you do have some better options, to be honest. We need some provoke and all that kind of good stuff as well. So with this setup, we could say, okay, Ninja Mikage. They're going to be in Chimera. We're going to use their builds across a few different areas. Perfect. Let's throw in Thor. Now, if you use Thor, you're probably going to have to bring a res champion. Do you have a Duchess? Let's see. You have 2 Duchesses. Oh, you have a Duchess literally sitting right there. Duchess is also going to be in Chimera. So another very good champion to throw in here. So now we have a Duchess in here. And now you're looking at, okay, well, we need a Curse champion. We need a Provoke champion. We have decreased speed. We have increased speed. We have no block buffs. We have decreased defense plus weaken. So we're looking for a block buff champion. Block buffs plus something else would be awesome. Actually, Wallmaster Thorion could be very powerful for this. Now, at this point, you're missing a Hex champion, and you're also missing a Provoke champion. Now, she brings block buffs plus weaken. So we have some things we could look at and work with here. We have the decreased speed from Thor. Mikage plus Ninja is going to be doing good here. Lydia with the decrease defense and weaken. The block buffs is extremely important though. We really need to get that in here. And we really want to bring in a champion who can do provoke. Provoke is possibly the most important. Actually, is there a champion who does block buffs plus provoke? I don't even know. Okay, there kind of is. What about block buffs plus weaken? Or plus hex? We have this dude, block buffs plus a hex kind of. So we can't quite do that, unfortunately, not very easily. But instead of Duchess, you could actually throw in a Mithrala. She would be cleansing the head of Torment or whatever. She could do that. We have max HP hits from Grazur. Grazur could be very good in here, possibly instead of a Thorion. But there are some Hydra teams that can definitely just do the top damage no problem. Now, I could sit here and continue theory crafting, or I guess I could just open up the Hell Haze Optimizer and see, okay, what are people already running? Like your account has so many good champions that coming in here and checking, okay, what rotation is this currently for Hydra? It is rotation 2. Just off the top of my head, I'll probably give him something on the sheet, but on top of my head, it's going to be a little difficult to figure it out. Nightmare, just a full auto team. I always try to run my teams full auto. This is 2 billion damage. I wouldn't look at Trenda though. Let's look at excludes champion Trenda because the Trendas are going to be 6-star blessings most likely. You don't have that yet, though 6-star blessing would be great. This is a fantastic team. We have a lot of very tanky champions, defense-based champions, very high HP, very, very tanky setup in general. This is fantastic. We have the increased defense from the champions. We have the Gizmak, who's going to be HP-based anyways, built for the arena. I'm not going to go into the second form, so this is going to be a surviving team, good decrease attack, good damage, 487 million. I can guarantee it's full auto as well. I don't know why it wouldn't be, or it could be full auto because it's literally set up to do that. That could be your Nightmare team. Now, let's do this real quick, okay? Let's say you did Nightmare with 400 million. Well, 400 million times 4 is, well, it's over the 1.2 billion damage. It's 1.6 billion. So even if you did 300 million, 300 million there, drop down to brutal, now bring in your Chrysias and stuff, and you're doing a bit more damage. So when you're at this point in the game, focus on Hydra, moving to doing your 1.2 billion damage per week, each and every week, and watch your account grow even more. But it's only going to grow as much as you upgrade your gear. And that's honestly just the biggest thing for you. It's coming in here, picking your 15 most meta champions and building them up, and also forging during CVC. You almost have 10,000 materials, but you got a lot of instinct stuff. Not that much. You have a lot of bolster stuff. You have a good chunk of righteous, a good chunk of slayer that, hey, I wouldn't even forge right now until you know what champions need built and stuff, right? Like Wallmaster, you could put a amazing slayer set on him. I guarantee it. But we don't really know what pieces we need. So I would start going in here and gearing him out, seeing what you need, get him to 260, 270 speed, 300 plus crit damage, 300 accuracy, and then he's going to be doing a ton of damage for you in Hydra. Getting a good blessing on him, which for his blessing, I'd probably say Nature's Wrath if you can't hit max HP cap, or going Cruelty, which you'll probably hit max HP cap anyways. Though, to be fair, his A1 does hit pretty hard. So Nature's Wrath or Cruelty, both could be very good for him. Very strong in general. So that is going to be for the whole gearing aspect of it. When it comes to the actual gearing, I'm going to leave him some information on the gear breakdown over here. I have some stuff here, which is from a previous takeover, but I'm going to drop some more information there. As far as what to focus on farming, it's still basically going to be Sand Devil, Shogun, Spider, and Fire Knight. But Dragon during 3x speed and the event dungeon, those are both going to be extremely impactful for him as well, because he needs more speed gear. His current fastest build for Arbiter is like 360, I think, is what I saw when I looked it up. Though Erbeus would be a better speed champion if you had a good aura or a good blessing for her. Not a good aura, a good blessing for her. But until then, your high elf faction guardians are probably full. Actually, they're not. So they're going to be pretty comparable, actually. Because Erbeus is 115 base speed. Arbiter is, I think, a little bit lower, right? Yeah, a little bit lower. So you could probably just take this from her and throw it on our Erbeus. Same turn meter boost. We have increased accuracy as well, plus increased attack. If you had a bomber like Nishak, then it's even better. Have Fabian go second after Arbiter, or after Erbeus. And now you have a little less accuracy requirements for your champions. But if we were to look at Arena, you do need to do a lot more farming in the Arena for your Great Hall stuff, because your affinity bonuses are kind of low. So I do a lot more of this. 71 wins and 3 losses. We can definitely get those numbers up. It's not horrible, though, to be fair. But for your team, there's one thing you can do to make this run smoother. This is a blender team. I love that idea. It's very, very cool. Though your Cardiel needs to be faster than Arbiter. So what I would do is put Cardiel, not faster than Arbiter. Cardiel needs to be faster than your damage dealers. So I wouldn't worry about him doing damage necessarily. I would just worry about him being speed tuned with your Arbiter. That's really all you need to do here. Because if he's speed tuned with your Arbiter boosts. Cardiel does the ally attack, and then you actually blend them. Right now, you're not really a blender. It's kind of like a choppy blender. Like, you start up, and then you kind of just putter out. Let's see if we can get... I don't really just want to throw any gear on him, honestly. We could throw a pinpoint set on him and probably be faster than your supports. Would you be speed tuned still, though? I don't know. 221. We need to clean some stuff, but you can see right here, the champions do good damage. They hit pretty daggone hard, which is awesome. But Cardiel's not going first. If Cardio went first, it'd be both these champions using their A1s, which are going to be AoE skills. Like right here. This is perfect, right? Boom. Both these champions would have joined in, doing more damage. Now, with that said, his A1's going to place weaken. Her A1's going to place decreased defense. You can put her in the front if you want, because it's going to go, he's going to join the attack, and he's going to go first, and she's going to go second. Either one's going to be fine. Maybe it's going to be best if you swap the order here, so that Hansel can place her decreased defense, since she's already going to be ignoring a bunch of defense, and then he can ignore some defense, even more. Or right here, either one's fine. Crushing Rin's not bad. I would actually rather have like Soul Reap on one of them, though, honestly, because Soul Reap will possibly send out the Reapers to kill them, especially on the last champion to go. So if your last champion in the team order is going to be Hansel, then put him on Soul Reap. If it's going to be Gretel, put her in Soul Reap. It's just going to help you kill the enemies a little bit faster. So here we go with the AoE stuff. Obviously, there's a pretty tanky team. Blenders aren't very good versus tanky teams like this, especially not Volcanos, who's just going to light you up with those burns. But in general, it's going to be how you run the Blender team. So ultimately, with this year follow-up, he's made some amazing progress. A lot of improvements with the overall gearing on champions, but gear still seems to be the biggest sticking point inside the account. The stats are far better. It's just some optimizations that need to take place in order to get the stats to really shine and really just take off with these champions. You have a lot of gear that needs to be upgraded. Once you upgrade that gear, you can start honing in on, okay, 3v3, Hydra, Chimera, or just Arena, Chimera, and Hydra. These are the areas I want to focus on the most. Everything else is locked down and solid. So let's focus on these areas. Well, this champion's going in Hydra, these champions go in Chimera. We can align the gear here. If you're good to stop at 1.2 billion damage, put your gear on that gets you to there. And if you need to go past that, well, definitely you can go past that. I think you could get a team for Hydra doing the 400 million plus full auto, or 400 million full auto for sure. Not for Chimera, for Hydra. 400 million full auto on Nightmare. For Brutal, you could probably do similar numbers, 300 million plus. And then for Hard, not too far as well, because you have Trunda. You can use Trunda with a low blessing on Hard. It's not going to be as easy as if you had 6-star blessing, but if you have the Arethi Coronet, yeah, boom, you have a decent Trunda setup right here. She's not going to be doing, she may do a billion. It's going to be difficult on full auto especially, but you can definitely do it. So as far as some champions for you to build and to work on, your Krizia, you just now pulled today. Congratulations on her. Awesome champion. You have another Wallmaster as well, who could be built for a second Hydra team. Very good. Wallmaster is always a great champion. You have these two champs, mostly Lady Noelle, who's very good for PvP. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can work on here. A lot of champions get thrown into content. It really comes down to just focusing on these areas and just pushing your gear quality, like getting crit rate gloves off of champions. This is the easy way to build a champion is crit rate gloves, but try to get those off. Because while this is 204% crit damage, this should be 250. Actually, it should be closer to 300 plus, honestly. This is not crit damage yet. You're missing so much stuff on here. So it's just coming in here and fine-tuning and tweaking these builds so these champions can really shine. So I would say start looking now. I'll put in the notes what you should be looking for. But basically, 250 plus speed on a lot of these champions. 280% plus crit damage. Good defense or attack or HP, whichever one you're going for damage. I'd say good is probably closer to 5,000 of attack or defense. Maybe 4,500 defense or so. And then if it's HP, you're really looking for 100,000, honestly. It's difficult to get, but 100,000 is where a lot of these HP-based nukers really start to shine. For accuracy, 350 minimum typically. But other than that, these champions are good. You have a lot of relic stuff you can go in here and optimize as well. Like Grazer is a great champion for this. Do we have any aspect of Searoths that your Rotos could be using? Be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? We have some Cat's Gaze. Very cool, very cool. On Newt, Thor, and Ninja. I like that. Some good champions to have it on. But there we go, guys. If you are interested in having a review done for you, then just click the link down below, get signed up for it, and you could be like Warhamir and a follow-up in a year and see how much your account's progressed. It's actually pretty fun. I like doing this. It's very cool. Great job to Warhamir. His account has come a long way from champions who were, I'd say, barely serviceable and definitely not in the right sets to now doing much better. But the game has transitioned a little bit, and now you're really wanting to mix and match the variable sets. It's really where you get the most strength. Like, okay, 1 turn Stone Skin plus damage or pinpoint or something along those lines is typically what you're going for. Now, on champions like your speed booster, you're just going for as much speed as you can. For Marichka, I'd say Stone Skin plus Relentless is like the top tier build currently. Of course, it's 2 accessories and 2 pieces of Stone Skin up top, and then the Relentless set. And Korra, you can go 6 pieces of Stone Skin. It's really just switch to, okay, we need Stone Skin on most champions in Arena. Only for 1 turn for most. Some champions get it for 2 turn, but most are just 1 turn. And then something else unique. So like Fabian, Stone Skin plus Supersonic. It's a very good set for him. Very powerful set for him. And then you just have to decide, is your speed for him going to be fast enough? Like your Armons. He's just pure speed. He's pretty slow. I would get him in a different build. I'd get him in a Stone Skin build plus Supersonic, a Stone Skin build by itself, something other than this because he's not getting a turn first. And a go second or go first team, he's not going. So we need to get this changed. If you're going to be using him in PvP content, he's going to be an only PvP champion, not using him in Hydra because he can't do anything there. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Thank you to Warmir for following up a year later and having so many other reviews done. So best of luck in your progress, dude. I think you're going to do awesome. Knock out some of this gear. I know it's a daunting task, but it's going to really set your account up for some success. But thank you guys. I'll catch you in the next one.